Good morning, everyone. I'm Kumpui Fan. Today, we would like to introduce a non-profit organization called the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association. Here is our group members. Here is our content page. We will start from background information of the organization first. Here is our group workload distribution table on the project. Let's talk about the introduction. Nowadays, many people are under lots of pressure, which come from different aspects, such as study, works, and so on. And once the pressure is not dealt with properly, it is easy to develop mental illness. Mental health has become an important indicator to measure people's health. Mental health cannot be ignored. Therefore, we want to understand more about the needs of some people with chronic mental illness and how the organization can help them so that they can reintegrate into society. That's why we choose this organization for our project topic. The organization promotes recovery and body and mind wellness have always been the core concepts of service development. They provide different forms of community psychiatric rehabilitation services to enable the recovered people to live independently, participate in different jobs according to their personal interests and abilities, to obtain works in the labor market, participate in social and leisure activities in the community, and enhance their personal lives. Finally, the ultimate goal is that chronic mental health people achieves the best overall health and reintegrate into society. The organization have 8 floor scope of services, including residential services, vocational rehabilitation services, community support services, services for autism spectrum disorders, family support services, clinical psychological, peer services, and self-help work. All of these are the services provided by the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association.
Let's talk about the background of New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association. We divide it into 3 parts: the history and timeline, the core values, and the mission and vision. The New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association was formed in 1959 by Dr. Stella Liu and a group of people in recovery of mental illness under the name of New Life Mutual Aid Club at the moment. In 1961, the organization was formally registered with the authorities, and they reorganized in 1965 with the current title, the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association. The association was incorporated under the company's Audience Act in 1968. In 1969, they joined the World Federation for Mental Health and becoming a member of the Hong Kong Council of Social Service in the same year. Finally, in 1970, they became a member of the Community Chest of Hong Kong. They have 2 main core values, which care for people and excel for quality. They treat people with respect, trust, and fairness. Also, they recognize each other's merits and value their contribution. For excel for quality, they are not only committing to professionalism and innovation. They drive for teamwork, partnership, and synergy. They uphold a learning culture for continuous improvement and organizational sustainability during a changing environment. For their mission, they are dedicated to pioneering and delivering people-focused, recovery-oriented, and evidence-based community mental health services. They also focus on care and respect, innovation, and continuous drive for excellence and professionalism. For their vision, They are trying to promote mental wellness for people in recovery of mental illness and for their families and the general public. Their ultimate goal is providing equal opportunities, social inclusion, acceptance, and full participation for all in the community.
Here come to the major works and projects. Through multiple approaches and interventions, the new Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association engage people in recovery in different ways. First is the person-centered care planning. It is to actively participate in their own recovery journey. Second is social and daily living skills trainings. It is to enhance their self-care and abilities to cope with the daily life demand and change. Next is the physiotherapy, occupational therapy, nursing and healthcare services, health promotion activities. These things is to maintain and enhance the health conditions. Then is the structured and meaningful activities. They is to develop their personal interests and strengths, and it is to enhance their physical, social, and spiritual well-being. For family activities, these are to maintain their connection with family members and to strengthen their family support. Also is the community activities. These are to achieve better integration with the communities. The association have more major works and projects. For example, residential service include long-stay care homes, halfway houses, hostel for moderately mentally handicapped, self-financed and subvented supporters hostel, residential respite service and support service and project. Second is the vocational rehabilitation service, included sheltered workshop, integrated vocational rehabilitation service centers, supports employment service, the agency-based occupational therapy service, and the products and projects. Next is the community support service. They include the wellness center, new lifestyle, the mobile van for public service on mental wellness, and different projects and service. For example, agency-based service for integrated community clinical psychological center for the mental wellness. Meanwhile, the association have family support service, self-help work, and service for ADS. The Jockey Club Embarrassing HOPES project is to support the family. And family-led work is for the self-help work. The ISPA is the support centers for persons with autism, and the JCA Connect Free Research Project is also the service for ASD. Also, they have the clinical psychological service and peer services. The Jockey Club EGPS Psychological Service and Training Center is for the clinical psychological service, and the agency-based peer support service is to help the peer services.
Let's talk about the positive impact of New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association. First, the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association met the first element of non-profit organization social responsibility. This element refers to the NPO should provide a specific good, common and public interest, instead of self-interest. They should be responsible for social needs that are not covered by governmental policy or even not yet acknowledged by the public. Why I said the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association met this element. In 2020, they cooperate with the Environmental Campaign Committee and the Environmental Protection Department to organize Green Lunar New Year Fair in Kwai Chung Sports Ground. They set up a publicity and educational booth to promote green initiatives and provide message to the public and store operators. One of the events is Resources Sharing Corners, which aims to collect unsold goods and leftover materials from store operators for on-site distribution or redistribution to other people after the fair. From June 2019, they start another 2-year food sharing project, which is the third phase in Kwai Tsing and Chun Wan districts. This project was funded by the Environmental and Conservation Fund through food donation and sharing of surplus food. To promote the concept of environmental protection and food conservation, the project has also encouraged mutual help within the community and relieved the economic burden of the needy. In October 2019, there was a Kwai Tsing Community Green Station Kun Green Ambassador training with 40 staff members participated. In the training, there were a guided tours and an eco-friendly handcraft workshop. Through these two activities, participants not only having more understanding about current waste recycling and recycling work, the latest environmental protection information, but also experiencing how to convert waste into usable material. The activity not only enhanced the environmental awareness of the participants, but also strengthened the participants' understanding and implementation of environmental protection work that in turn facilitated the active promotion of green culture in workplace. The second positive impact is economic empowerment, which means the NPO should having specific social objectives that serve its primary purpose. They will try to maximize profits and maximize the benefit for the society and the environment at the same time. Economic empowerment can strengthen vulnerable groups' participation in the decision-making and let them have greater control over their life choice through increase their access to economic resources and opportunities. For example, jobs, financial service, or market information. For New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association, they establish many social enterprises which mainly focus on people in recovery of mental illness. They aim to provide training in a real work setting for them, help them obtain necessary skills and confidence, and help them for community integration. Their social enterprise covers 6 sectors, namely retail, catering, direct sales, ecotourism, cleaning service, and property management sectors. For retail, they provide training in customer service, cashier, and stock management. And for catering, they provide training in food preparation, cashier, and food serving. For direct sales social enterprise, people can learn about logistics and stock management. For ecotourism, which offer nature-based tour in Hong Kong, it can promote the concept of healthy living, environment protection, and mental health. In cleaning service, it started in 1995 through successful bidding for government's cleaning tenders. It can provide opportunities for social integration. The last one, the property management. It provides day training, employment information, and case management for residents. The third positive impact, which is social inclusion. This is a process of improving the participation in society, particularly for people who are disadvantaged. it mostly through enhancing opportunities, access to resources, and respect for rights. Regarding the social inclusion provided by New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association, it aims to provide a way for upward mobility of people in recovery, and as a necessary step towards social integration through open employment. It's not only providing tailor-made retraining courses and other vocational training services, but also arranging employment, job matching, on-the-job supervision, support, and follow-up. There are different vocational rehabilitation services provided by New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association. For example, supported employment services for people in recovery of mental illness and employers. The placement-tied training courses and language-related skills.
Now we would like to move on to the economic transparency. It is one of intrinsic elements of a good public financial governance. It is critical to ensure that the organization and governments fulfill their obligation and promises. Also to track the use of resources and their delivery of service promised in the budget. Since the resulting level of mistrust can go as far as undermining social stability and the economic growth. First, they have the annual report to disclose a non-profit organization operating. Second, they have the financial report to disclose the financial position and the cash flows. Now, I would like to focus on the leadership, which is the situational fits. The leadership behaviors are influenced by different aspects of the personality. The situational fit means that it is the situation they face and what is required to deal with this. For example, the infection precaution from COVID-19 well-being tips website of the association. They give different one-step stickers to people, and which the stickers contain the well-being tips under the COVID-19 situation. From the COVID-19 well-being tips website of the association, they give a lot of examples to have a good lifestyle under this pandemic. First is the meaningfulness exercise at home. Second is the tips to keep mental health during this situation. Third is the tips about the infection precautions.
In the negative impacts to Hong Kong society. The first negative impact of the organization is few beneficiary. The few beneficiary definition is that the organization only focuses on the sum of the disadvantaged group of the people, and it cannot provide service to the general public or other disadvantaged groups. For New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association, they only focus on the recovery of people to live independently, allow them to participate in different jobs according to their interests and abilities, providing work in the open market for them. However, the organization does not consider and provide any services to the general public and other needy. Therefore, the first negative impact of the organization is cannot provide a wide range of services to the general public. The second negative impact of the organization is that the organization cannot meet the non-profit organization social responsibility of the second element. The second element of social responsibility mentioned that behaving responsibly towards the membership or supporters by not creating chaos, unnecessary feelings of insecurity, unfounded distrust towards other people and society. According to the newspaper, The New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association staff performs violent behavior in the MTR station and created chaos, unnecessary feelings of insecurity, harm to other people, and created some scandal event to the society. It reflects that the organization management not well and also damaged the organization reputation. Therefore, the organization cannot meet the second element of the non-profit organization's social responsibility. The third negative impact of the organization is inadequate promotion of mental illness. It means that the public still cannot accept the chronic mental illness group of people, leading to people who having mental illness cannot fully participate in all the community. According to the newspaper indicated that the general public disagrees with developing mental health centers in the estates. They believed that mental illness people would not be easy to control their behavior, and it may bring some disturbance to them. Therefore, the organization's insufficient publicity for mental illness has made it impossible for the public to accept these mentally recovered persons, leading to the general public discriminate still against mental health people.
We are going to compare the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association with the Mental Health Association of Hong Kong and the Samaritan Befrienders Hong Kong in the same 7 aspects. For the target audience, the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association and the Mental Health Association of Hong Kong also focus on general public, especially for people with intellectual disability. The Samaritan Befrienders Hong Kong mainly focus on general public. These 3 NPOs are providing the interest for general public. For the year of operation, the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association was formed in 1959. The Mental Health Association of Hong Kong was formed in 1954. The Samaritan Befrienders Hong Kong was formed in 1960. So the Mental Health Association of Hong Kong has the longest history. For the service aspects, the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association covers more service aspects. Not only the service for people who recover in mental illness, for example, the residential services, family support service, community support service, but also the service for autism spectrum disorders. And they established an institution named Mindful College to educate their students about the mental illness. For the social enterprise aspect, only the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association and the Mental Health Association of Hong Kong are providing social enterprise. For the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association, they covered more aspects of social enterprise, namely retail aspect, catering aspect, direct sales aspect, ecotourism aspect, cleaning service aspect, and property management aspect. For the Mental Health Association of Hong Kong, they only covered 4 aspects: the retail, catering, online store, and cleaning service aspect. For the number of social enterprise in Hong Kong, Kowloon, and New Territories cluster, the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association has total 17 social enterprise in these 3 clusters. The Mental Health Association of Hong Kong has total 29 social enterprise in 3 clusters. For the website language, the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association and the Samaritan Befrienders Hong Kong have Chinese and English language on their website. And the Mental Health Association of Hong Kong only have Chinese language on the website. For the hotline service, even these 3 NPOs provide hotline service, but only the Samaritan Befrienders Hong Kong provide the hotline service with 24 hours. To summarize, the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association provide various type of services for a wide of target audience. They provide a lot of social enterprise in different clusters, although they have less number of social enterprise than the Mental Health Association of Hong Kong. And their website provides Chinese and English version language, and it is more user-friendly for the public.
Here come to the future trend. The association have a e-care systems, which is to facilitate the staff to record, retrieve, and generate users' profile, clinical data, and service statistics and the reports. In the past 9 months, 6 residential service units had pilot and electronic residential management systems. This is the amount of time required by the staff to import and transcribe the data was reduced, and the data accuracy was increased. This useful system would be fully implemented in all residential units in the future. Here come to the second future trend. The Chuk Yuen Integrated Work Centers has been operating by the association for over 25 years since 1995. It is a service restructure for a sole vocational rehabilitation training models to a stepped care services model is proposed. In 2019, the center has been awarded funding support for a renovation cum service restructures program enhancements. It's facing the similar Asian challenges in Hong Kong. Now we move on to the group comments. Before doing this project, we have unknown image about this NPO and unknown NPO management. We think it is only focused on the disadvantaged group. But after finishing these projects, we have certification about the NPOs. We have very clearly and full disclosure of the NPO management aspects. They provide service for all general public. To sum up our comments, we have a better understanding about the new Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association. We are understanding how NGO helps the disadvantaged group to reintegrate into the society. We realized that the value is very important for the NPO developments.
Let's talk about the central features of non-profit organization, including organized, private, non-profit distributing, self-governing, and voluntary. In the organized aspect, the Liu Fly Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association can show a clear degree of internal organizational structure in order to possess some institutional reality. We can see the organizational chart of the Liu Fly Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association on the right side. It shows the clearly internal structure of the organization. Therefore, the Liu Fly Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association can fulfill the organized feature. In the private aspect, the organization encouraged the general public to donate money to them in order to support their services and program. It reflects that the organization tried to independent and refusing to receive the subsidies from the government in operating their self-financial program. It means that the organization is self-financing operation. Therefore, we can see the Liu Fly Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association can fulfill the private feature. In the non-profit distributing aspect, Liu Fly Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association indicated their income is 607 million and expenditure is 601 million in the annual report. Therefore, the organization can fulfill the non-profit distributing feature due to the organization show clear in the income and expenditure situation to the general public. In the self-governing aspect, Liu Fly Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association will regularly meet with their staffs in order to improve and update their projects and services to be better. Also, the organization shows internal management situation to the general public. Therefore, the organization can fulfill the self-governing feature. In the voluntary aspect, Liu Fly Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association having volunteers application for general public to join with their organization. The volunteer application have voluntary and non-compulsory. Also, the organization allow public contributions of time and money to support the organization. The aim is to engage volunteers in its operations and management. It can see clearly the donation form and volunteer application form of Liu Fly Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association on the right side. Therefore, the organization can fulfill the voluntary feature. In the conclusion, we will summarize of the Liu Fly Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association of services, future trends, positive and negative impacts, and also the comparison of other non-profit organizations. In the summary of the organization services, we can see the organization provide a wide range of services, including serve general people, especially intellectual disabled, residential services, family support services, vocational rehabilitation service, clinical psychological services, community support services, peer services, service for autism spectrum disorders, self-help work, social enterprises, and also build up an institute about mindful college.
In conclusion of the future trend, the association will improve their e-care systems and also the restructure of Chokyun integrated work centers. The improvement of e-care systems include the amount of time required by staff to input and transcribable the data was reduced, and also the data accuracy was increased. And they restructured the Chokyun integrated work center to facing the similar aging challenge in Hong Kong.
To conclude the positive impacts and the negative impacts of New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association, they fulfill the first element of nonprofit organization social responsibility, which means providing a common good or social good instead of self-interest. They are providing good to the needy through economic empowerment, social inclusion, and promoting confidence to the public through economic transparency and situational fit. However, they still have some negative impacts. They don't have much beneficiaries because they mostly provide the service for people who are suffering from mental illness. They are unable to fulfill the second element of nonprofit organization social responsibility because one of their staff was creating scandal. And also, they have inadequate promotion on mental illness. To conclude the comparison part, to compare the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation with the Mental Health Association of Hong Kong, the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association is better in the items of service aspects, social enterprise aspect, and the website language, because they also have English language. To compare New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation with the Samaritan Befrienders Hong Kong, the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation is better in the items of service aspect and the social enterprise aspect. So, in the service aspect and the social enterprise aspect, the New Life Psychiatric Rehabilitation is doing more better than the other two NPOs.
Here is our first page of references list. Here is our second page of references list. Thank you for your listening. Let's enter the discussion part to discuss some of the questions about the project topic. The first question is that, what is the vision of New Fly Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association? The second question is that, could you list out one of the positive impacts brought by the New Fly Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association? The last question is that, have you or anyone you know ever enjoyed the services of the New Fly Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association? So please engage to join our discussion part. The first question answer is that the vision is promoting mental wellness for people in recovery of mental illness and promoting mental wellness for patient families and the general public. The goals are equal opportunities, social inclusion, acceptance, and full participation for all in the community. The second question answer can be many different answers. One of the answers is that the organization serves the public interest and provides opportunities for needy reintegration into society. The last question is an open-ended question, so you can free respond it. This is the end of our presentation. Thank you.